I'm resident of Colorwood for YouTube. Joel Sains. That's my buddy on Gallant. That's my buddy Patrick McCray. We're here to review Hap and Leonard, season 3, episode 4.
Oh boy, what a banger!
This is a portal into the winds of supernatural and mystery. This is a great episode.
It was exactly what the story needed at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't really have gone further without the stuff.
And Belinda starts to become more and more a presence with this episode.
Oh, the cop?
No, the silent girl. The silent girl.
Yeah.
And at this point, I mean, she's really kind of a neutral force, and you get that. You get that over the next several episodes. She's not there to rescue people, although that sometimes happens, as part of it. But she's just sort of there as a witness, in a lot of ways. But she's the mojo. I mean, she's sort of a personification of that other side of life, that you pass through the permeable membrane and you're in the world of the supernatural or whatever. She's in both worlds.
Yeah, they do a really good. This would be like a perfect prelude to a Southern Dark Shadows episode.
Oh, absolutely. Dark Shadows could easily take place in Louisiana, especially this part of Texas as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
there's something about that I'll tell you when we're done.
Okay.
I like how even because they got this right from a scene selection standpoint, from when they're shooting during the day. Because when you're in the woods and you see sunlight isn't as bright through trees as it is when you're in the open field or something.
No, not at all.
Sure.
So they did a really good job capturing that sort of atmosphere in the fact that they're outside. They're not using really a set here. They're using woods and wilderness, and really well too with the light, the daylight. Obviously, clearly the night stuff was creepy as hell, but I especially love how they use the daylight through the trees. It looks dark. It looks very beautiful, and it gives that creepy feel to it too.
Yeah. And it gives that feeling like when you're a kid and you get lost in the woods temporarily, that feeling.
I'm never getting out.
Yeah, exactly.
Hope I find some apes.
But the flashback is also instructive here because we learn a lot about Belinda in terms of what happens to Bobby Joe. She's a witness. She's at least to part of it. She's not a witness to the final part of it, but she's a witness to how it gets started, which is that the poor guy gets accused of raping her, and when in fact he rescues her from these two.
And she doesn't accuse him.
No, she doesn't outright accuse him. You're right. She dispatches him through her connections to the Klan, or at least one can draw that conclusion. She lets him out. That's exactly what happened in Mississippi Burning. Let him out after dark, and then they end up dead the next day.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that struck me about this episode was how screwed around Hap and Leonard had been for the prior 3 episodes. That everybody's lying to them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Everybody. I mean, the one-legged porn guy. I mean, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the weird thing about the one-legged porn guy is that he admits freely that he struggles with the truth. He's just always kind of doing his thing. So that's sort of an established thing. Like, he represents the entire community in that respect.
And he's the benevolent one.
Right. He's Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky. He doesn't pose a threat to Hap and Leonard. That's for sure. At this point. But we really get to see Officer Reynolds start to become the absolute Nazi, that she is. We've already got the idea that she's a white supremacist,
Yeah.
But it just from this point on, it's all downhill for her.
It's like that's the closest thing to her good quality. At least she
Right.
thinks something's good,
Right.
even if it's misplaced.
Right.
But here, she's just completely evil.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
she's the heel. I mean,
She's total. She's beyond heel. I mean, she is. She's.
She's the whole Ferragamo.
Yeah. The whole enchilada Ferragamo and gazpacho that you don't want to eat because it's fucking poisoned with toadstools.
But they take small town like secrecy to the next level of, hey, you know how we can keep secret? Buy our asses off. So.
I think Reynolds' malevolence is best summed up in the flashback scene where she says, "What is it? A belt is a really good way of ending all of this.
Bringing an end to all this. You know, Bill?
Like, save me the trouble." It's kind of what she's doing.
I like how Hap and Leonard find George's car.
Oh yeah, and then it starts and then it cuts out because it doesn't have any gas. And they have to stagger around some more. And in the rain.
Yeah.
In the rain, three-quarters of the time. And then they meet the couple that they met before on the road because they bump into Belinda, and she and Leonard does this stuff with his hands, and she seems to understand it, and she leads them out of the woods. But then there's this truck coming down the street, and they freak out, and it turns out to be this couple that warned them not to go to, to town. And so they end up giving, they fill up a bunch of pop bottles full of gasoline so they can take it back to the car.
Yeah.
Like, man, I would be so creeped out driving that car around. I'm sorry. It's like, because we don't know what's happened to her at this point. We have no idea. I mean, anybody could definitely apply, some sort of hypothetical logic to this and say, oh God, she's got to be dead. She's got to be dead. And that's what they did. Yeah. But they're driving around in her car. Like, I kept thinking, oh Jesus, did they get caught in this car? What's going to happen then? But they end up driving it out of there. So, and they find the tape recorder when they find the car, which is a huge clue, and it's going to push them forward in this mystery, trying to solve this mystery.
Yeah. What's your guys' favorite scene in this episode?
Wow,
there's a lot of them. I like the scene in the diner where Florida's explaining exactly what the laws are, and it's just that was nice to have someone actually say it and say, we're living in the 20th century now.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. I mean, there's lots of any Florida scene. It's going to be great, and there's a lot of good ones in this.
Mm-hmm.
The scene really in the jail, I thought was really strong, and I really like Sneed. Is that his name? With the combs his hair with buttered toast.
Yes, the guy. Yes, that's Sneed.
I really, it's very Dark Shadows in that sense, but I like his evolution. He's
the Willie Loomis character.
He seems to be turning into a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And he's making the effort. He's battling against his demons towards his better angels, I think, and you can really see that happening.
And it's either that those things were always there and he just didn't tap into them, or that being around genuine bad guys has unlocked the decent guy who became a cop for the right reasons, but forgot them.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Detective Hansen starts to bleed back into the story here as an ally.
Yes.
Yeah. Rather than as just somebody making the investigations in and around stuff and trying to figure out whether or not these guys are okay. He actually seems to figure that they're okay, so he starts bleeding back into this whole mess, which is caused by Florida's ex. Really,
well,
when you think about it.
Yeah, oh yeah, and that maybe Hap and Leonard are doing what he should have done a long time ago.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then our friend Truman, who is also, along with Reynolds, coming. They're sort of battling for first place in the scumbag category, in the villain category, and they're both doing an excellent job of maintaining their top positions.
Yeah, and Truman's sense of amusement in the cafe, I think, is really interesting.
Yeah.
In that, he is so evil. He is willing to just and the evil gives him a confidence. Sure, sit at the lunch counter. That's fine. Sit next to me. It's fine. Yeah. And it makes his betrayal just all the creepier because we see what he can, what he actually has lurking underneath.
Right.
And he can appear to be such a nice guy.
Because in this town, the confidence comes from the fact in this town there was never a Civil Rights Act of 1964. It just didn't happen in this town. So Jim Crow is, doing its thing, which makes our friend the chief cook, bottle washer, and sometimes physician who works in this diner, along with this blonde woman who seems sympathetic to the outside influence, or the outside presence, I should say. It's not really a heavy influence at this point. That makes that thing all the more interesting. Why is he here? If he's a black man who, if he could go anywhere else, why the hell wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Small town corruption. That's what you have going on.
Whoa, it's beyond that. I mean, it's like they never like it's like they were. This is 1989, so they got frozen in time for at least 25 or 30 years. It's weird. It's it's sort of like Stephen King put him in a bubble or something, and then, unleashed him on the world after 30 years. So corruption, absolutely, total corruption. This is the type of corruption that in the Jim Crow era was pretty much instigated by Klan control in these small southern towns. The Klan would infiltrate the law enforcement, the schools, anybody they could, in what is now known as ghost skins. These are white supremacists that keep it on the down low, and unless they're pressed or stressed, they keep it on the down low. And of course, that still exists today in some communities. We know the white supremacist influences, because it's being tracked by several organizations like the ACLU and
Southern Poverty Law Center.
Poverty, big one for that. So these ghost skin guys are getting into law enforcement, but they're keeping their attitudes on the down low until they establish themselves in position of authority. And that's what's obviously happened to this town. They're completely taken over by the Klan.
Yeah. Is there anything you guys want to add before we go?
It's going to get spicier.
I can imagine episode 5.
It's just
the episode.
Yeah,
if it follows the pattern of the other 2 seasons, does it?
Yeah. I don't want to say too much. I watched the rest of the arc today, but it follows. Yeah, it follows, and more. It just as the first 2 seasons. Just the writing is great. It doesn't flag. It doesn't fail. It doesn't fall asleep. It doesn't do any of that stuff. It keeps going. It's not like the 3rd season of Star Trek, folks. where we lost a bunch of episodes. That had to do with budget as well as much as anything else, I think, because they got really.
It's when those shirts changed.
Bamboozled.
They became the stretch fabric.
Yes. Instead of the thick quality stuff that they were wearing before.
Let's see. Tomorrow, Dark Shadows 780. Link to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook Unbound is going to be in the description box. Link to Alan Gallant's YouTube channel. Colin Sport After Dark is going to be in the description box. Go check it out if you haven't already. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Hasta, baby.